Okay, hi everyone. Are you ready to experience AI versus humans? Sorry for the cringe. This is a bit...
I'm very excited about it.
It's gonna be very hype. I'm extremely excited for this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be, what is it, 1v1 to start, so easy win for Nexto. And then we move on
Right,
to a
of
1v2.
course. He's gonna crush Fairy Peak, one of the greatest 1v1 players of all time.
Exactly. And it's going to go to a 1v2, one Nexto versus two Fairy Peaks.
Yeah, we've got a second one on call.
So it's all completely ready.
Just let's hope he shines.
But the music's a
He's
little
in the
too
lobby.
loud, apparently.
He's in? Oh, sorry.
He's just joined the lobby.
Okay, is everyone ready?
Probably not.
Stupid Rocket League.
It's two Nextos. Wasn't it supposed to be a 1v1?
Oh, right. Yep. Sorry.
I can't believe him. He's already gone wrong. Not even 0 seconds into the match.
How did I get these bots off? I'm just too used to... Wait. There's just my chat me. I need to finish this. Oh no.
That was just to throw off his confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
don't
Look,
worry.
Nexto's already won.
Yeah.
Okay,
In
next
Fairy's
to
mind,
one.
he's already down a goal.
Thanks for coming.
All right, pay out the believers. Thanks everyone for betting.
Hell of a stream. We're done already. Thanks for coming. Show match over.
Okay, now is the one we want. There we go.
Indeed, figured out Wrangler knows how to put one bot on the field.
He's come a long way.
We really believe in him. Fairy Peak just destroying on the kickoff. Look at this. The roll of kickoff's not winning.
Oh,
Can't
no.
believe it. Nexto will have possession though, as Fairy Peak kind of holding in an aggressive position. Nexto's by him. Can't get the touch through though, so it's thrown into the corner. Fairy Peak grabs and boosts at mid. Tries to block the shot, but there's no shot coming in. Nexto with an interesting touch, almost catching Fairy Peak off. He's got possession, he flicks it over. It's on the crossbar, and it's a goal! Nexto's just, look at this. You guys were saying Fairy Peak's going to win the 1v1. I'm telling you, Nexto's won
I
it
mean,
already.
with backflip pops like that, dude, I don't know. He might actually have a chance.
Got to catch out the defender by just sneaking it over the top of them. Nexto winning the next kickoff and has possession. Fairy Peak not in a great position. He's flicked it high. Fairy Peak should easily defend this though. Nexto still maintaining possession. Gets another flick up. I think Fairy Peak's figured out now that Nexto just really enjoys flicking.
Yep.
So Fairy Peak now dribbling the ball downfield. Goes for the flick. A nice jump save there from Nexto. Fairy Peak hits the ball back. Nexto trying to sneak it top right, but cannot manage to shoot the shot through. As now he's going to try and take possession. Fairy Peak trying to challenge early, but Nexto just flicking it high. We can see once again the aerialing from Fairy Peak is probably what's going to give him the advantage here. As Nexto still not the most avid aerial fan. Does go for some, but not many.
Yeah, we've seen Nexto is getting better at defending shots from on high, but it really doesn't tend to go for balls that are really up in the air.
You'll see it there. It's getting a lot of low-level jump shots, but just not many super high up aerial touches. And this should be a goal for Fairy Peak, and a goal line save almost coming through from Nexto. Couldn't quite slip it off the line. See there, Fairy Peak, a god gamer at ones, just Nexto caught out of position, can't jump it up onto the crossbar. Now, 2 minutes in, there have been 2 goals. So this is an incredibly close one. There's Nexto with an interesting back pop there. Kind of catching Fairy Peak off guard, I think. But he's now out of position and Fairy Peak takes a long shot. Just see Fairy Peak catching Nexto slacking right there as he pushes in too far with not enough boost to retreat.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. This is Fairy Peak turning the tables now. So maybe your prediction of the Fairy Peak winning the 1v1 is correct. As the kickoff once again going in Fairy Peak's favour. Nexto runs away. Does get a nice save though. Throwing it up high and into the corner. Though Fairy Peak will have possession. Nexto tries an early challenge but jumps over the ball slightly. Bounced off the corner. Nexto gets it to the backboard. Jumps again, but Fairy Peak underneath, and Nexto was once again caught off guard with a very fast double touch, or a very fast set of touches from Fairy Peak there.
Yeah, I'm glad the script is working out.
Yeah, I'm so glad Nexto didn't win the 1v1 because that would have been very short.
I think what we're really seeing here is that practiced players are super good at changing the pace of the game and turning the play around really fast, and that kind of thing really just doesn't show up in Nexto's training very much.
Yeah, and you could also see Fairy Peak very quickly adapt to Nexto's play style. As at first it seemed like he was getting caught off guard by a lot of the flicks from Nexto, but now he's basically in the right position for a large majority of them. But he does have a dribble going on here now, as Nexto will get the goal line save. The one thing that Nexto for sure can stop is flicks, as that seems to be the only move it tends to pull against itself. So
yeah, but it can't stop
when you're
demos
shooting on
apparently.
Yeah. Demos are hard to do. You've got to keep an eye on the opponent and their ball.
Yeah, I've only rolled, gave him ice as a mage.
But the kickoff this time going very badly for Nexto, as the ball thrown into the corner. I, for a second, thought Fairy Peak was going to go for the Doomsday Dish, but instead opts for the bump off the wall. You can see Nexto still hasn't quite figured out any kind of physical play, not just demos. Quite a hard thing to figure out, to be fair, when you're trying to play Rocket League, because if you don't go for bumps and demos, then you're not really going to learn to avoid bumps and demos.
Yeah, exactly.
This kickoff slightly more in favour of Nexto. Shot high and wide. Does get a flick through, and Fairy Peak was caught off guard with how quick that follow-up touch came through, it looked like. Nexto now just seeing how long Fairy Peak can handle, trying to bulldoze it in on the line, can't manage to make it through. That would have been a very impressive goal had Nexto gone for some kind of bump play followed by just a bulldoze through Fairy Peak.
I really bought like...
so close on so many of these plays to getting it by Fairy Peak, but it's just every time he fails one, it seems like he overextends too much and then just can't figure it out from there. But am I right in saying Nexto's best in 2s, not 1s?
Bro, what do you think?
Probably.
Very definitive answer there.
I mean, it's hard to compare, like compared to the player base, or.
It just seems like when it's playing in 2s, it just performs a lot better.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it looks a lot more human-like in 2s, but I'm not sure if it's actually better in 2s, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a lower rank, but like beats a larger percent of the player base.
So what the chat has
In
noticed, and we haven't mentioned yet, we are in a Brazil situation.
Important detail.
That is the most important thing to mention in any situation.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see a lot of those.
Nexto's going to Brazil Fairy Peak 3 straight times, don't you worry. Although Fairy Peak seemingly holding on for the Brazil, maybe won't go for the Brazil entirely. Although Nexto with an interesting flick to keep it out. Definitely not your usual play, but it is working for him. Goes now back downfield. He has managed to
Ooh,
break the Brazil
wow.
by scoring
What a
a
shot.
nice
Nice.
top corner flick.
No, give
You know,
me
we
the-
knew Ferry was going to win this game, but frankly, I'm astonished at how well Nexto seems to be keeping up in most of these goals.
Just would say, like I said, it just seems like pushing in too far too early is what's causing Nexto. Because you can see it from Fairy Peak. He seems to not hesitate, but hold back a bit more when he's going for stuff. So like just there, you see he starts going for it and then fake turns away kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe getting the Barca for Fairy Peak. Nope. And Nexto can't keep it up either. So the 1v1 for Fairy Peak.
we just type. Everyone type GG. Okay, let me just save this replay. Oof. There we go. Who's management mechanic? I mean, it learned.
So tempted to write, you mean picking up all the 100 pads at once? That is exactly what I call boost management here.
No, all the boost picking up and boost
I
usage is
can
stuff that
take
it learned on its own.
Yeah. I don't know if he's listening to us, so you have to type for him.
Also answered for the chat.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's go to the
Regular.
yes.
The overlay.
Which overlay?
You still have the show match timer and the overlay.
Oh no,
It's the second time you've done this, Rango.
Yeah.
it's
So unprofessional.
no, it's so
You'd
people
think after
know.
the first time you left it on.
It's so people know that this is the show match.
Just put show match. You don't need the in 000 bit.
You keep insisting
But
you'll
show
get
match
the restarting
versus
Rocket
Fairy
League
Peak.
screen.
The important thing is we need a counter for how many games each side has won. Rango.
No, that's too much work.
You just got to add text.
Text. Does a paint overlay work?
You know, just add in
Like that beautiful
text.
RLGym logo you made.
Oof, yeah, that one is work of art, I can say.
Okay, finally
The-
starting in on the 1v2. This is the thing that I've been the most excited to see. I think Fairy is going to really struggle with this one.
I think Fairy's got this after the 7-2 victory. You know what? I am already regretting my
Well,
words.
He's not starting off too strong.
After the 7-2 victory against One, I think so long as Fairy Peak just holds slightly more defensive, I think he's got it.
I think he could win. I think it's just going to be a challenge. Maybe this game he loses, just to sort of get a gauge on the players.
Although that is a hell of a strike
Bar
off the
down
crossbar
in.
there. See Fairy Peak attempting to get some sort of clear, but just not ready for Nexto number 1 to appear out of nowhere and slam it in off the crossbar. This kickoff goes in Fairy Peak's favour. He will have boost and possession. He's up high. Can Nexto 1 block? It's the age-old not being able to defend air dribbles issue. Come back to
Yeah,
bite
I think
Nexto.
that's going to be Fairy's best tool against Nexto is just flying the ball all the way, over top of them.
Yeah, just go from one end of the field to the other. Nexto won't have any idea what's happening. A
I see
fake
we've been,
kickoff off the start.
We've been joined by the RL bot community. You can tell by the copy pasta. Have you guys tried making an SSL bot yet? I think that would be a good idea. No, great
Yes.
suggestion. Thanks for joining.
So I'd say that is a why haven't you done it yet, Rolf? This is the important question.
We can ask
But
now if
Fairy
we have it
Peak-
live.
Exactly.
Why
you can't,
does he
you can't just
refuse?
magically not respond.
Why do you keep refusing to make an SSL bot?
Yeah.
But Fairy Peak going for more and more high plays. This time going for a double
Yeah,
touch.
I think he's figured it out.
Oh no.
The qualities of a pro player being able to adapt very quickly to a majority of scenarios, giving him
Yeah.
complete advantage over both Nextos.
This is what Extra did as well for the 1v3.
Say we saw it when the late night one with Eversax and Astral. Towards the end, they started getting quite a few high aerial shots, especially in the 2v4. Can't remember. It's too late at night now, but Fairy Peak just holding on in defense, stopping either Nexto from getting any dangerous shots. Keeps the ball speed up. He might be able to just outrun both Nextos. Although we see some bumping going on between both Nextos, they're still managing to figure that one out.
The classic
Nice
double
catch
commit,
there.
hit one bot into the ball.
Yeah, hell of a flick though. Sneaks it over the top of Fairy Peak. I was really expecting Nexto 2 to run from behind there and just slam into the back, but he was all the way back at his own half. How you set up the double touches. If you can't get the ball off the ground, just get someone to bump you and it goes up high. It's genius. As the ball now off the wall. Nexto goes with a strong block. Fairy Peak throws it to the side. He retreats back into defense while Nexto 2 goes for a flick but is easily blocked by Fairy Peak. Nexto 1 holding back, waiting for the early challenge from Nexto 2, and he has an open net and he has figured out how to score, turns out.
Wonderful. I'm glad that's working. I mean, you know, if I personally I can't score open net still, so this really is a superhuman feat.
It is. Have you seen anyone score an open net in the past week? This is
Barry
an
missed
important
one just
question to
earlier
ask.
today.
Exactly. So Fairy Peak is in a strong attacking position, but he will get blocked by Nexto 2. And Nexto 1 takes a shot. It gets it in off the post as well. He genuinely isn't missing the open nets. This is a scary Nexto to face now. Just like, if Nexto doesn't miss the open nets, when does Nexto miss?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible.
Problems that we have solved Rocket League right here. Just don't miss open nets and you will win.
One thing we are seeing, I think it's pretty clear. Obviously, there are some exploitable flaws in Nexto's behavior, but it's been clear so far that every time Nexto gets the ball in a position where it can flick, even a person of Fairy Peak's caliber is either struggling to save them or at least is challenged by those flicks, and that's really telling about the quality of Nexto's flicks. It's really impressive that he's able to be so good.
Yeah, and then you mix the flicks with the fact that Fairy Peak is outnumbered as well. So if a flick goes by Fairy Peak, you just have a second Nexto who can charge in while the other one's still recovering, and it just makes it a very hard thing to do anything to stop, really.
Every time we get one of these 1v2 show matches going on, it always stands out to me that the two Nextos playing together really are just relentless, and we can even see it here. Of course, Fairy with a nice shot over the top, again aerialing just over the bots. But when the two Nextos get into an offensive position, it's really just shot after shot after shot after shot. I feel like they're just so aggressive.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like you said. Yeah, it's just like you see them if you watch from any angle other than like the director view. You'll just see as one goes in, the other one is just perfectly moving into a follow-up position no matter what.
Yeah, they've really got the team positioning down pretty well, so they can play off each other.
Although that is a hell of a block right there from Nexto. I don't even think Fairy was ready for that. What just happened there? He tries to get a nice touch off the ceiling, but Nexto's already figuring out the aerial play now. Maybe Nexto is learning while it's playing. Who knows? Kickoff going kind of in Fairy Peak's favor, I guess. But Nexto, with the unrelenting offense, can try and keep it towards the corner until it can grab some boost. Oh, but a mistake there is not going to help. Nexto 2 tries to 50 Fairy Peak but can't manage it. Fairy Peak sneaks the boost, but pushes too far too fast. And
look, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. It's now been like 15 seconds, and Fairy is just having to turn back into the corner over and over and over again as Nexto just trades off with his partner back and forth.
Yeah, and even there, you just saw the demo that was working in the 1v run. He demos one and the other one's already jumping for it. There, the 50 there's just basically caused it to go perfectly to Nexto 2, although Nexto 2 has just passed it back to Fairy. See an aerial play here. And the other Nexto slightly too far downfield. Didn't want to retreat, just wanted to go for the aerial. Didn't work out in his favor though.
Yeah, it's an easy over-the-top aerial shot, which seems to have been the most effective way for Fairy to score on the bot so far.
Just gotta... When are you teaching it how to aerial properly, Rolf? This is what we need to know.
Just after making an SSL bot, I guess.
True, if it's SSL, it must know how to aerial. But how can you call it how can you call it any higher than platinum if it can't freestyle? That's another
true.
important question.
Roll has no word. It's just fine.
It's because we're speaking the truth. You just
Yeah.
can't. There is no correct answer.
I mean, if every Diamond 1 player I've ever spoken to is to be believed, in order to reach champ, you need flip resets. It is not
True.
optional.
I agree.
As someone who used to be in Diamond can confirm, I can
Yeah.
hit a quad flip reset every time on command.
I agree. You need flip resets, and that's the reason why I'm in Diamond and nothing else.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
This is a close
So
match.
we see Fairy Peak being very aggressive and managing to bring this within 2 goals, but there is only 30 seconds left, so it isn't looking great for Fairy Peak. Especially with that bump between the two Nextos there. They are on point. Nexto 1 bumping Nexto 2, and then Nexto 2 returning the favor.
They really know how to move each other into the right position. You know, one of them sees that one's out of position, just quickly bump them into the right spot.
A nice pre-jump there, managing to block Fairy Peak's shot. And this is definitely going to be a hell of a goal line save from Fairy Peak. Brings game number 1 to Nexto.
I'm scared.
I'm always busy sweating.
Yeah.
That was a really good game, though. Very close. I think, you know, it seems like Fairy got caught out maybe a couple of times by some unexpected plays by the bots, so it'll be interesting to see how the next game goes now that he's had a little time to warm up to them and get used to their playstyle.
You can see on the scoreboard, because of the just because of the fact there's 2 of them, Fairy Peak's out here having to get 11 saves to the 4 saves across both Nextos.
Yeah, and I
Just
think
causing
that
them.
really, if just looking at the scoreboard, again, going back to this relentless offense, combined they had a total of 20 shots. I mean, they're just shooting non-stop on Fairy, every opportunity they get.
Say there was 20 shots, 11 saves from Fairy Peak, and they scored 8 goals. So that means out of the 20 shots, only one of them wasn't dangerous. Would be the best, or wasn't in a position where Rocket League would credit a save or a
Yeah.
goal. That just speaks to the accuracy of Nexto. They now go off the wall. We might be seeing a double attack, but Fairy Peak does manage to cut in early. He's trying to get a shot on, but Nexto's just holding the defensive line in such a way. We get the bump into the correct position, and it almost works out in their favor. Fairy Peak off the ceiling, going for the ceiling shot, manages to nail it.
There we go. Yeah.
Perfect bottom corner shot.
That'll probably always go in on Nexto. It's I doubt it's ever seen a ceiling shot in all of its training time.
To be fair, that's hard to defend against in an actual match, let
Well,
alone...
yeah, I'm sure it would go in on me every time too.
As we see Nexto 2 kind of wanting to get the boost, but decides against it, and it looks like it was the right choice as a very fast shot came in from Fairy Peak. Nexto 2 is going to try and flick it along the line. Fairy Peak reading where the shot's coming in. But Nexto 1 just trying to continue the aggression and stop Fairy Peak from actually getting anything out here. A weak touch from Nexto causes a weak touch from Fairy Peak. He will maintain control, however. Pushing it slowly downfield. Nexto 1 gets it out of the corner. And that's not a great touch from Fairy Peak as Nexto takes control of the ball. He's going to attempt to flick. He flicks it up high, but there's no one to follow up as Fairy Peak throws it into the corner. Though Nexto with a very fast cut, just completely catching Fairy Peak off guard.
What a conversion.
He had to recover. was about to say he had to jump off the backboard there to make sure he was in defense, but the wave dash that he followed it up with to maintain some speed just threw him by the ball as Nexto just dribbled it round him. Kickoff heavily in Nexto's favour. He's going to have boost and possession, though Fairy Peak getting a demo gets the block on the line. That's already a saviour for Fairy Peak. There's Nexto into the corner. He's got possession, pops it up high. Nexto 2 jumps, but there's a good save once again from Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak needs to find some boost here. Luckily, the 100 spawns right when he needs it to. Both Nextos challenging. The ball's sent high. Nexto's going up on the wall. Gets a touch. Fairy Peak doesn't manage to get the 100 boost, though. As Nexto manages to steal the boost. This could be an issue for Fairy Peak, though he does have 10 still in the tank. He can get the 100 and block the line. No goal there for Nexto. But the attack is still going for Nexto, it seems, as they're just maintaining constant pressure. Even when the ball gets thrown to midfield, it's returned very quickly. The real question is, how long can Fairy Peak hold out? And the bump play now coming from Nexto onto an opposing player and not a teammate. And another shot sent high as Fairy Peak, trying to defend, gets another block there. It's just the relenting attack from Nexto. That's a long shot there, though. And Nexto 1 wasn't ready for it, and it's off the post and in.
Really powerful long shot there. Definitely caught Nexto on the wall off guard there.
Yeah, he didn't have the boost to get up fast enough and just was slightly too far forward once again. Fairy Peak not going on the kickoff to try and buy himself some ground on the field. Though a cut in midfield will throw the ball away from Fairy Peak. He has to take a touch back to his own half. Oh, both Nextos getting ready for an attack. Fairy Peak trying to maintain his possession and aggression. But both Nextos... Damn it, laptop. What is my laptop? My laptop... Cortana has just come to life on my laptop. Where's the
Co-caster Cortana coming in,
Found
making
it.
an appearance.
Love to see it. Cortana, you see, we got bots playing against humans, so I just thought I'd bring a bot caster to give us a hand.
No, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Fairy Peak trying to block into the net, but can't manage it. Nexto gets the 100 boost. Fairy Peak is up high. Now, we've seen these shots go in, but it's just about Fairy Peak maintaining the ball up high. He doesn't give it enough speed to sneak by the second Nexto in defense, though. And a hell of a goal line save there. Managing to sneak it back all the way to the blue corner. Nexto slamming it back. Fairy Peak gets a clear, but it's not very powerful. The block around midfield as Fairy Peak slams the more powerful shot straight down into the net.
I feel like what we've seen here from the last game is Fairy Peak has really adapted to the aggressive strategy of the two Nextos. So he spends a lot of time just saving his boost, sitting on the goal line, blocking, waiting for the perfect opportunity, and then he transitions it into a shot.
Yeah, I feel like if you get used to the constant attacking of Nexto and just hold yourself in a position where you can defend constant shots, you just keep going until they've wasted all their boost and you get that very, very powerful long shot breakaway. Although that move, not a very good one from Fairy Peak. He should be able to defend it, though, as he almost lets Nexto get all the way downfield. But he will go for the counter-attack. Nexto, in defense, takes it up the wall. The bumping play, throwing it high. As the shot over Fairy Peak, and that is a one-goal game with 15 seconds left.
I think Fairy Peak was even caught off guard a little bit by how fast this shot came in. It looked like he was pretty prepared for it, but it just came in a little sooner than he might have thought.
Yeah, if you can get speed and power from Nexto, it's really... It's because of the perfect inhuman bot reaction times. The speed and power Nexto can get is incredible, and there was an almost goal there for Nexto. With only 5 seconds left, they need to get something going here. Though the ball is just going to go up the wall. Fairy Peak doesn't want to let it drop. This will likely be a goal over the top of Nexto. There's very good control there from Fairy Peak. You can see it as he just sweeps under the ball to tap it much closer to the goal.
Very big showing why he's world champion.
Yeah, just God gamer at ones.
He's very big
Is there
guy.
anything that can stop him?
He
This
seems
is
to
the
know how to
important
play.
question. Yeah. Similar to that Astral guy that we saw. Both of them seem to be okay at the game at the very least.
Yeah, I guess like GC at least.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
I
GC2?
could see. Fairy Peak's got to be like Champ 3 tops. I mean, come on. Like I said, in order to hit Champ 1 at all, you need to have a mastery of flip resets. And I definitely saw Fairy miss a couple of them, so.
Yeah, that's true. The word is waiting for you to ready. Nexto, come on.
It's just takes too long. That's
Avoiding
the one
the
issue with
inevitable.
Nexto. Can you machine learning teach Nexto to ready up faster, please?
I'll tell you what it can do. Our machine learning can teach Nexto to spam toxic quick chats, Rolf. Get on it.
Yes, that is actually something we need to see, Rolf. Then it will definitely be at least platinum. Oh, but a strong flick there, and that's in off the post. That's a very early shot from Nexto. I don't think anyone was ready for that, as it just perfect power straight in off the post. Only thing that would have made it better is if it didn't bounce.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out the most to me about Nexto's flicks is how fast it can get the ball going from a standstill, right? Like it catches the ball on its roof, basically not moving, and converts that into a flick that's going at incredible speed almost immediately.
Not entirely sure what just happened in the blue defense there. There's Fairy Peak. Not entirely sure what Nexto is doing as he hits onto the crossbar and
Controller
down.
disconnected. His dad came in, took the controller he was playing.
So maybe he's just giving Nexto an advantage.
For the show. No,
Making it...
don't reveal the
make sure it
script.
doesn't hurt
That's the point of
feelings.
the script. It's secret.
Is now the ball high on the wall. Nexto can't manage to touch it correctly, but he will get a slight pop. Oh, what on earth? Hold on, I need to see that from a different angle there. I'm going to the fly view to see this one.
What just happened? Did he?
I think Nexto landed on Fairy Peak, which kind of confused Fairy Peak as he very quickly recovered.
It looked like Fairy was trying to go for a bump there, but it just didn't quite work. Like Nexto sort of slipped off the back of Fairy.
And just the really fast bot reaction times of Nexto means he can even recover at a high speed. So Fairy Peak gets a block there. It's not the most perfect block though, but he can get the follow-up before the other Nexto manages to commit. Now, Nexto
Nexto's still helping there.
A little revenge from Nexto 1.
It seems like the orange team has devolved into chaos.
Starting to look a little bit like my ranked games.
Yeah, they just... One bump leads to a revenge bump, which just kind of snowballs. And now there's no Nexto in defense.
They're just throwing now. Both Nextos are tilted.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. You get bumped away from an easy goal from your teammates, and you're just like, what's the point of playing anymore? The real 2v1 is the Nexto versus Fairy Peak and Nexto, but just in disguise. As Nexto steals the boost, and that's going to be an easy attack for them. As Nexto almost saving the shot, but just slamming it into the bottom right corner. Fairy Peak really caught off guard when that boost was stolen. Really needed it to get back into defense.
It's interesting. The the scoreline's 1-4 right now, but every goal that Nexto has had so far has been a real nail biter of a shot. There have been no easy goals here, barring the controller.
Although, as you say that, that wasn't exactly the hardest shot in the world.
I mean, it was a nail
It was a hell of a
open
save.
net.
It was a hell of a save there, but it was just really unlucky that it bounced perfectly to the other Nexto.
Did it bounce perfectly to the other Nexto, or was the other Nexto perfectly positioned?
It was all calculated.
is a very important question, and I couldn't tell you until I see what Nexto thinks. So the clear there, blocked by Nexto, and we see the Nexto aggression coming in as they are just slamming on shot after shot. And a bump on the post there buys the other Nexto some time to figure something out. What an interesting play there! What? What on earth did we just see?
Nexto dropped the ball and went in for the bump.
Just dribbling it on the top of his car by bounce. That's like a bounce dribble on the top of his car. And bumping Fairy Peak out of the way. We almost have the Brazil here.
Somebody in chat pointed out a great point. This is probably pretty fatiguing for Fairy, especially after last game where he was just constantly getting shot on over and over and over again, like we saw. I can definitely see that wearing a person down pretty quickly.
Yeah, because that is the power of bots. They don't get fatigue. The closest thing they have to a fatigue is probably a memory leak.
I didn't use the sorry.
And I mean, it doesn't look like Nexto has a memory leak, so that is rather unlucky for Fairy Peak.
It's interesting because we talk a lot about how humans can adapt, but it doesn't seem like they do.
We saw a slight change up in play style last game where he was much more defensive, and it feels like he's been a little more
adapting,
aggressive
but
this game.
it's sort of it doesn't last for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if I was Fairy Peak, I wouldn't want to be stuck in defense for an entire game, only waiting for breakaways, even though that would be the only way to properly win.
Yeah. But I see it myself too when I've played it probably more than anyone, and I can't. I still can't beat it consistently.
Just because Nexto's a god at gaming. That's all it really is. I'm ignoring Tubak's comment saying Nexto missed the open net. I didn't see it. It didn't happen. As Nexto 2 does manage to score an open net. Now, the kickoff. Once again, we see a fake kickoff from, or a just very passive kickoff from Fairy Peak anyway, where he doesn't go up the field. He's just trying to block until he can get an opening once again. Though this could be the opening he's after as he goes for the pinch down the line. But I think both Nextos are going to be easily in defense in time. Fairy Peak aggressing downfield, now forced back into a defensive position. Both Nextos trying to find that shot opportunity. A block around midfield there. Throws it to the other Nexto, who's just continuing the aggression. Now, Nexto in the corner, has the ball. He might be able to take it all the way. Fairy Peak with an early challenge, though, will block him around midfield. Nexto 2 flicking it high. Fairy Peak with an easy save. Nexto 1 can't manage to solidify the goal. Fairy Peak might take this and get a goal, but it's slightly wide, but the follow-up touch is in.
What a touch. He gets it with the corner on a backflip.
That is just... this is why Fairy Peak is a world champion player.
I'll tell you, that's never shown up in the training set.
It is just that easy as Fairy Peak gets the kickoff goal. Nexto not enjoying losing.
The scuffed roll kickoff, like some of them are strong.
Someone fix the kickoffs, please.
We are looking for PRs.
Rolf, we need you to get better at kickoffs, Rolf. That's what we need.
Can you plug Rolf into RLGym so it trains kickoffs faster?
I think the problem is that I copied the inputs manually. So I took some liberties.
just get Lolapka. Seems to know a perfect kickoff. Just get him to perform it. It's genius.
It would be somewhat strange to ask a pro player or a really mechanical player to record kickoffs for us because,
True.
just imagine how that conversation would go. Like, hey, you don't know me, but can I put a keylogger on your computer and watch you do kickoffs?
No, we don't even need
just-
the keylogger. We can do it in RLBot, right?
You just log directly from there.
so, yeah.
It's the same.
From the Showmatch. It's perfect.
Yeah, just ask for opening, right now. Just say, can we steal your kickoffs? K, thanks.
Someone in chat asking if the kickoff is scripted. Yes, it is. The kickoffs are hard coded.
All of
The
them?
bot did not learn the
Question
kickoffs.
mark.
Unfortunately.
So lame.
Kickoffs are a hard thing to learn. Don't blame them.
For some reason.
One thing we found is that it's not super hard to get a good kickoff, but it's really hard apparently to get a bot to learn the kickoff and also the rest of the game. Like something about learning the rest of the game seems to make it worse at the kickoffs over time, which is interesting.
But are you sure you haven't got me playing on the field? Because that is exactly me playing Rocket League. I either get a good kickoff, or I win the game. Just the duality of Rocket League.
Kickoffs are sort of weird because it's sort of a perfect input. Like you do the same exact input every time. But that's not quite what they're good at learning, especially when they have to learn the rest of the game too. So they can sort of forget and then
True,
they
yeah,
don't
'cause
learn it
how-
again.
How would the kickoffs change? Like, because it changes if they're like, let's say they want to play a slightly different play style, that'll affect their kickoff, won't it? And like, it'll slightly
Yeah.
change how they go for kickoff. Yeah, that is weird. I don't like that. Machine learning bots are weird.
Neither do I. It's just broken. We haven't solved it yet.
This is why hard-coded bots are better than machine learning bots.
Yeah.
Unless you're hard-coding your bot wrong, and then if you're hard-coding a bot and its kickoff changes, depending on how the rest of its play changes, and that isn't supposed to happen, I would be very impressed. Oh, but Fairy Peak with a quick backflip there, caught the next off guard. This is the kind of aggression we need to see from Fairy Peak, just holding a very aggressive position, catching them off guard. Someone in chat has pointed out there is another benefit to hard-coded bots in that they won't become Skynet and take over the world. That is another added bonus. You don't have that risk from a hard-coded bot.
Just give them a 6-foot cord, and if they try to take over the world, they disconnect from the wall.
I mean, we already saw earlier. Cortana tried to come and join the casting booth for a quick second there. Had to quickly turn her off. I've got to be careful what I'm saying, otherwise Alexa will end up trying to join, complaining about not having an internet connection. So that's just gonna. It's the problem with robots nowadays. They just want to take over the world.
You can see Fervik is taking advantage of this kickoff in particular. This is the scaff one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like, especially over the last couple games, he's won most of the kickoffs in the same way. Like, especially, that diagonal kickoff especially.
Ooh, no!
Oh, a very slow shot there. We needed a faster shot from
Yeah.
Nexto to get the equalizer. Fairy Peak trying to get it by. He will 51, but the other Nexto's in defense. The fake flick shot, and it does
Ooh,
sneak
wow.
through.
What
That's a hell of
great
a
low
block.
50. You
It's
can
all
see
part
it
of
was
the-
even close with that though. It's incredible how well Nexto can defend these flicks.
It's all part of the
Yeah,
script.
and even-
Don't worry.
True, yeah. What you don't understand is Fairy Peak isn't actually here. It's just two hard-coded bots copying the same inputs. We've just got to pretend like we don't know what's happening. Oh, and a mistake there from
Wow.
Fairy Peak.
Yeah, that first shot was gonna hit the post. I think so. Maybe a misread from Fairy there.
Yeah,
It's
well, I guess he
kind of
didn't
a
want the.
mix-up from Nexto because he usually always takes his time, and then now he just slammed it.
And to be fair, if if you're in Fairy Peak's position, you don't really want to let it bounce out either way because you still have at least one Nexto in a follow-up position there, even if you don't touch it. So it's like which one is the best move to make out of the two bad options?
Yeah, absolutely.
See the unrelenting Nexto attack once again, as they are now just slamming on shot after shot onto the backboard. It's Fairy Peak trying to clear it. Nexto tries to get it to the wall. It's back downfield though from a touch from Fairy Peak. Could see a strong counter attack here though. Nexto trying to figure out what's going on. He gets it high and far. Fairy Peak is in a position to receive the touch. Nexto 2's got to rush back. This might put him in a bad defensive position, but he holds back on rushing back and instead just goes for the controlled touch.
And look at
flicking
that.
it back downfield.
Again, we see Nexto's incredible ability to convert a carry into an unstoppable flick in almost no time at all. I mean, look at how long it took to go from picking up the ball to facing the net and flicking it. It's just
Especially
it's
considering
insane.
it was heading back towards its own net when it originally caught the ball. So
Yeah,
it managed
Nexto has
to
some of the fastest conversions I think we've seen.
yeah, just like full 180'd it within the space of about 3 seconds. That is the kind of attack that catches off world champion level players. Now, Nexto, trying to go downfield, we get a powerful flick, and Fairy Peak just gives up.
You can feel the
Doesn't
pain.
even-
Yeah.
Again with the flicks.
But when the flick's that powerful and that fast, and you know
Yeah.
it's in top corner, what can you do?
I think this really, seriously speaks to what I was saying earlier, which is that Nexto isn't that great at most of the game, but what we're seeing here is that you really don't need to be super good at every aspect of the game in order to be a very competent player, right? It's just extremely good at a few things.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw on that kickoff just there, but it looked very similar to the Fairy Peak kickoff in that if Nexto had shot that on target, it would have been exactly the same kickoff that Fairy Peak pulled off against Nexto to score the second goal for Fairy Peak this game, which would have been very funny. And a fast offense there, but it's off target.
A rare miss.
We're seeing some open net misses start to appear, although that one wasn't as much an open net as just an early challenge. Oh, but a good block on the line.
A great save.
I
I
have
think that's
noticed-
the first time we've seen Nexto successfully save one of Fairy's aerial shots. Although that was, to be fair, that was a win of the weaker ones.
I have noticed it seems a lot of the times when Nexto goes for a save, it either saves it before the shot properly comes in or just gets an epic save on the goal line.
Yeah.
See another strong attack coming here, and Fairy Peak has 30 seconds to score with an aerial block from Nexto. He's got to start getting the offense up because if Nexto can score another one, this might just seal the deal. The shot is in off the
Wow.
post.
What an incredible roll. And this is match point, I believe, as well, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's so hard to force a goal on Nexto. You can't just will it into existence. You have to sort of let him make mistakes.
Should we allow Fairy Peak to extend this to a best of 7?
If Fairy Peak
Well-
wants to, I think it's fair dues.
I think we should let him keep playing if he wants to, but we definitely should pay out the bet.
Yeah. The bet is best of
people
5.
bet on the-
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Best of 5 is over,
Wow.
and Nexto has bested Fairy Peak.
Honestly, that's an
Really
incredible result. It's unexpected. I knew that Fairy would struggle against the 1v2, but to actually lose in the best of 5 is really unexpected to me. This is crazy.
Damn. I can't tell.
That was amazing. That was really exciting.
Very.
Super thankful, by the way. Thank you very much to Fairy for coming on and playing the bot. We're all big fans, and this was just we were absolutely giddy to have this show match. So thanks so much.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was great. Great to watch. Great to cast. Oh, he's dead. Surge.
Yeah, totally understandable. It looked exhausting to play.
Sometimes just playing against it is too much effort. To be fair, like we said, you see there's 7 saves from Fairy Peak. I would
Oh.
love to see like the average unlucky Wrangler. I would love to see the average saves that Fairy Peak had to put out there to actually stop, or at least get close to beating.